This is Martin Rowinski, Boardsi CEO, and with me today I have Ari Hirsch from InstaSteam. He is the CEO of InstaSteam. We originally met in November of 2020, and here we are almost 3 years later. So, Ari, tell us a little bit about InstaSteam and your journey. I guess you can say from when we met to where you're at today, real quick.
Yeah, thanks, Martin. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me here. Yeah, so we met back in 2020. That's when I met both you and Dan. We just came out of, I mean, it was still the beginning of COVID, pretty much. It was still that first year. So we took, at least my company first, I mean, everybody was, but we took a huge hit during COVID, especially because we were so concentrated in the travel industry. We really only rolled out officially, worldwide or just, into a broader market and towards the end of 2019. So we kind of like launched with all that momentum and then just went straight into COVID, everything that we were working on. And we didn't really have enough time to, build a lot of infrastructure outside the travel industry, because that's where a lot of our business is. That's where we started, and we didn't have, the direct to consumer side and the other industries set up properly yet. And so once COVID hit, it really hurt us a lot. And our sales basically dropped to zero at some point. We lost all of our deals with hotels and cruise lines that we were working on. And then so during that first year in 2020, we were basically just scrambling to figure out and pivot to try to just make this company, work during COVID somehow. Even though people were at home and not steaming their clothing, I had to figure out a way to keep the company alive and not lose it. So it was just a bunch of, networking, just, trying to do some marketing and more on the direct to consumer side, trying to see where I could sell this product outside of travel, and somehow get people to steam their clothing even when they're at home. And that's when, later that year, towards the end of 2020, things were already starting to loosen up a tiny bit from COVID, even though we were still in kind of that lockdown. Things weren't really fully opened up yet. But through my networking of, at some point I got Dan and I connected, and then he introduced me to you, and we were able to really, that really kind of like sparked, the getting back into the travel industry for us, because a lot of the contacts that I previously had in the travel industry were gone because people either left companies or companies were just a mess at that point. So I was really just building back up at that point, building back up contacts and building back up the company. I had no board members at that point. I was like a one-man show during COVID because we lost everybody. So really, after meeting you and Dan, that was really like the spark of like, getting people back on board again for us. And that really opened up the doors in a lot of ways for us in the travel industry, because we were a huge CEO of a hotel chain, and that was huge for us to really open back up those doors.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's really the background of that time period.
Yeah. And then things did open up, and I actually had the first time I think we met, because I moved to Vegas, and you were in LA at some point, and you moved to Vegas around the same time I did, I think.
Right.
And, and then Raul was the advisor that Boardsi connected you with. He was visiting Vegas. I think that was the official first time we actually met in person at his hotel. Or was that the second time?
No, I think that was the second time. I think we first went out. We went out to like lunch once or something like that. And
that's
then,
it. That was before.
Yeah, and then once Raul came out here, we all went out at the Virgin Hotel, the new one that opened up. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and Raul, great guy, came through.
Yeah, amazing guy. Yeah, I mean, as soon as it was the quickest thing. I mean, as soon as you guys introduced, Raul to InstaSteam, I mean, he loved it. And it was like a quick, extremely quick, seamless process. Just getting him on board. It was, you introduced us to him, and then he checked it out. Then we set up like an intro call. I got to talk to him, and then yeah, I mean, just moving on from there was pretty easy. I mean, once he was on board and he loved it, just ironing out the terms and getting a contract together and bringing him on board.
Well, easy to love InstaSteam for two reasons. You are a great guy, easygoing, awesome, very positive, even though, like you said, you were struggling, and getting that hope feeling was a good thing and a great spark. But InstaSteam is a great product. I mean, obviously you've provided me with some InstaSteam. I've used it. It's awesome. Definitely great for travel. I couldn't use it till we started traveling again, but
Right.
it did come in handy. So yeah, definitely easy product to utilize. And you're hitting all the right industries. And thank God everything is opened up, and you're making more and more connections. And I know you've gone through some stuff, but things are really, really looking up for you, right?
Yeah, yeah. Since COVID, I mean, once things started opening back up again, it was kind of like just a light switch just flipped for us, and sales just naturally picked back up again. It was really like in 2021, at that next year, once things started opening back up again, and yeah, light switch just flipped. Sales just naturally picked up again every month. We just had natural growth. Like, even though we weren't really pouring money into marketing at that point, we just had some natural growth going, with customers just needing it again, because everyone was just getting out there and traveling. So just in terms of customers buying it, that skyrocketed again. And then, yeah, I mean, once the travel industry opened up again, and a lot of other companies recovered, we were able to, rebuild a lot of our partnerships, and, start working on a lot of those deals again. And then, yeah, now we got to this point now where, we're kind of expanding internationally now. We're still in that growth stage right now, where we're,
Yep.
figuring things out, but we definitely have some pretty huge deals in the works. And we've discussed, I'm closing our first Series A right now.
Yes.
Which is huge for us. It's the biggest raise we've ever done. This is really that next level. This current year is really going to be that stepping stone for us to come out of like startup stage to like, we're going to move into like a full grown company at this point.
Yeah, and I know outside of your direct consumer obviously is booming. You've added products, that's booming. But outside of all of that, I know you're getting some big national and international contracts, and they're no small potatoes. I mean, they're going to be big for you. So I think getting that your serious funding is really going to be that huge stepping stone to moving forward with that and really growing from there on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, at this point, once you're in that growth stage, you really need that funding to really get you to allow you to basically accomplish those things. Because a lot of those things take money. I mean, you have to build up your supply chain and manufacturing and all that stuff. I mean, it's impossible to do. You can get the largest purchase orders in the world, and if you don't have the money to handle it, you're not going to do
it. That's the tough part about having a product that requires manufacturing. And
exactly, yeah, it's a huge expense.
And we talked about some of those details for you. I mean, what you put together, I mean, like I said, amazing product that you literally add a little bit of water and it chemically creates steam, and it steams your shirts or whatever you're steaming right then and there without needing anything. I mean, just to think about that chemical product, it requires obviously the right manufacturer to produce that. And I know you've spent a lot of time in making sure that the product delivers. So I can only imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, manufacturing is probably my worst nightmare. It's like and because it's international, like there's times where I'm like waking up in the middle of the night to messages on my phone, because I have to be awake sometimes during their hours to handle that type of stuff. It's probably the worst. I love business, but if I had to pick one thing that I hated, within at least this consumer product space, is probably manufacturing. Just a pain. There's so many logistics involved, and it's a pain to deal with.
Life of an entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly.
24/7. Awesome. Well, we're super excited for you. Can't wait for that funding to come through and close, and really for you to start skyrocketing. I mean, you're on the launch pad, as I like to say, and I know it's a countdown at this point. So
Right, absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it.
super proud of you. Super happy for you. I'm glad we're neighbors. Get
Yeah.
to hang out.
It's good to
It's
have
always
some
good
other
to,
CEOs, you know, in the Vegas area. No, it wasn't really built up as a big business infrastructure here, so it's good to have other people here.
absolutely, and glad we both got to meet and build our friendship from now on. So
Absolutely.
thanks for stepping up to being interviewed and get a quick follow up. We should definitely do another one in a year and see really where InstaSteam's at that point.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, it'll be a whole nother stage at that point. Yeah.
That is the hope.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you, Ari.
Yeah. Thank you, Martin. Appreciate it. Good talking to you.
Absolutely. You too.